Okay, ready for this?
Please.
No showboating. You've got to finish in first place.
So a few people have been complaining about the handling model of the crew. I've seen it in the past betas, on the PC version, on the console version, that sort of thing. A few people have had issues with it. And personal experience also says that, I have had a few issues with the handling model. It was no way perfect. You got some issues where if you went in a corner and did a jump, you would literally lose control and slide along the floor, and you'd lost that race pretty much. So taking like little shortcuts to get your speed back or your position back, it kind of reacted in the wrong way and pretty much made you lose because it thought that you were going over jumps and you lost control, that sort of thing. But I had to say they did listen to your feedback, and that's one thing Ivory Tower have been fantastic about throughout the whole development cycle of this game and listening to what gamers want. They have actually redesigned the handling model in a sense that it is now not impossible. So I tried a few things. Now, I've actually gone and converted to using hardcore all the time now, which is something I never really did before, because if you remember from the past betas, especially PC players, the hardcore setting was almost impossible to cruise with, to drive with, to use at all, except when drifting and having a little, fun down a mountain and spinning out. Because that's literally all that would happen. But I'm now able to use the hardcore handling model and actually drive normally, as if I'm meant to use that handling model. Like, if I hit any jumps or anything, I'm still in control of the car. The car slides, but it's still controllable. You can turn the wheel to get back in control of it. Your car is actually as if it's more tied to the ground now. That's probably the best way to explain it. So along with doing all this, I did a couple of tests around a circuit into starter cars. And the reason I did that is because, obviously, these are some of the cars you're going to be using. And I've explained the handling model in the past before. As I said, the 370Z was very light and very flimsy. You snap it and it was gone. In hardcore, that would be the death of you. But in this, now they've actually updated it, it's actually pretty damn simple to get this thing to slide and keep it in control even on hardcore mode. So one of the main changes that I can easily say is true, from what I've actually seen and played myself, when you go faster, your turning circle is more limited. So that is one thing they've done to improve the handling model of the game. Now that sounds a bit, a bit cheesy, a bit weak in ways to fix this, but it's not just the only way. But it seems as if it makes it much easier to control at high speeds, because I have a tendency to very lightly tap at high speed still, because I played the past betas. So when I'm going high speeds down the highway trying to avoid cars, I'm tapping it, but it's not moving like at all. So I literally force it all the way, and it's still very, very limited in what it can turn. It's in no way like ridiculously limited that I can't turn how I want to, but if I want to turn drastically, I slow down, use the handbrake, that sort of thing. So it helps you, and also makes you make use of the brake and handbrake a little bit more than you did before. So I'm driving the 370Z in hardcore mode at the beginning of this video, and you can see that I'm actually managing to control it pretty well. I had a bit of trouble controlling it in sports mode in the last beta, so this is a very welcome change. One thing I should actually state before we move along though, if you're on the hardcore mode, the turning circle is much more than it is on the lower settings, though it is more limited than it was in last beta, so you do not completely spin out. So that was once again a better change. So basically, probably one of the best ways to explain the new improvements to the handling model is the fact that they've gone for the circuit spec handling model and put it on every other car and tuned it from there, if that makes sense. It's much more grippy, it's much more understandable, it's not going to catch you off guard. It may do sometimes, but you easily snap it back into position. As you can see in the gameplay here, I start to slide, I snap it back into position. That wouldn't have been possible before. If I kept doing that, and I would have gone to the left, and I would have gone into the wall. Whereas now, this is not the case. So that's pretty much the main changes to the handling model. It's basically been made much more understandable, much more predictable, much more easier to control when it is unpredictable at times. And I think it's going to be much, much better for welcoming new players and such, because As I said at the beginning, a few people were complaining about the handling model being very difficult. Now that it's got the simple layer, so you can get on the game, you've got the easy mode, cool. You want to push it even further, you want to get faster in your car, you want to be an elite driver, all you need to do is switch to the hardcore mode, and you'll be set to go to cut those seconds off your time, slide around those corners, and have a bloody blast. So, all this testing was pretty much done on the stock and the street version of the Camaro. I did a little bit of the Camaro as you saw at the start. But it's basically much, much better than it was before. I've just basically, literally, spent the past 5 or 6 minutes explaining to you guys what I could simply say. They've improved the handling model for every single person, including myself. I found the hardcore handling model a bit too overbearing at times, a bit too much. But now it's as if they've tuned it as it should have been from the start, and it's much, much better. So that in itself, to me, it has been worth the time from the last beta to this beta. And if they just did that alone, then it would be great. But they haven't. They've also improved the graphics. You can literally tell a difference in the visual quality of this video here compared to my last ones. Much, much better. It looks like they've got a much better model of anti-aliasing. May just be to do with, making more optimized towards release, that sort of thing. But I'll go over those in the future if you want to hear about those. So, anyway, hopefully you did enjoy and you found out some more information about the crew. If you did, give it a like and let me know. And for that, that's it. We're done. See ya. See you in the next video, guys. Peace.